I've been a brand inspector going on my 38th year. I started in 1977 at Fort Collins, and I got transferred to the Delta District in 1983, and I've been here ever since. Well, I cowboyed all my life since I was a little guy. My dad had a ranch on Divide Creek south of Silt, and I just like it. Just like reading brands and working livestock. Any change of ownership, anytime you travel over 75 miles, or anytime you cross the state line. Basically, the 3 times you have to worry about a brand inspection.
My name is Debbie Veltri. I've been doing it for 38 and a half years. I got into it out of high school, just needed a job and thought this might be a fun job. And I knew the brand inspector where I grew up down at Trinidad, and I took the test and went to work for the state. Been there ever since. Quit. Sale day is all the cattle come in here offered for auction. We have to inspect them for proof of ownership before they are sold, and we identify them for brands, and then we also have the authority to hold the money until they can prove that that's their animal if they don't have their brand on it. Oh, sometimes you'll find one that's maybe a mistake. You know, they got the neighbors in there and didn't know it, but to really like a thief that stole some and brought them, no. Because they know we'll catch them.
I've been brand inspecting now for a couple years, and my background has always mostly been horses. I grew up in Eastern Oregon, and my family had a quarter horse ranch. And they also had a hobby farm too as well, so they had cattle, pigs, goats, sheep, you name it. If it was breeding, they had it. The reason we have brand inspections is to protect the livestock owner. We're trusted
so helpful. Thank you.
to keep our eyes out to make sure that they're protected and that their animals aren't being stolen, or when they get lost, help them find them. And we actually do that often.
So here's the tea.
I don't know, you just get used to looking at the brands, and then from the summer they're real slick. As you go into the winter, you're looking at them as the hair's getting longer, and you can just see it. Some people can see it, some people can't. We have clippers and ropes. If we have to catch one and clip the hair off, we do that.
If there's one brand, you can do it pretty fast. You know, you can look at 100 head of cattle in 30 minutes. If there's 2 or 3, it may take you 2 or 3 hours. A lot of people think that we just go in there and say, well, there's 30 head of cattle there. That's with this brand on them, that's all we do. But we have to look at each and every one of them. If we didn't, it wouldn't be a very, very good system.
There are a lot of aspects of the job that people don't see behind the scenes. The locker being one of them. You know, you don't expect your first day on the job to walk into a locker and hear a gunshot go off, and you're like, oh, okay.
Well, most days you get up, sometimes you leave at 6:30 in the morning, or 6 or 6:30, and sometimes you don't get home till after dark.
There's no getting off and going home. You work from home, and so the phone never stops ringing. It'll start ringing from 7 o'clock in the morning, sometimes at midnight.
You have 5 unheard messages. First unheard message.
Oh, hi, Holly. This is Marvin.
Next message.
Hi, Holly. I am needing to set up an appointment with you.
Next message.
Hey, Holly, it's Karen. I needed it.
Couple close calls, but no, I'm working the cattle. No, I've never got hurt. You just got to watch where you're at, what you're doing, your surroundings, and watch the cattle. Make sure that if they're mean and going to take you, you just don't get in there with them.
You bet. You got to watch yourself all the time. It's really dangerous. Some of them cattle, they get on the fight and they'll get you. Probably the worst thing is got kicked 3 or 4 times, you know. Laid up hobbled around for about 2 weeks. Didn't break anything though.
Well, that's good.
The parts of the job that I love is I love the people, I love the animals. It was a perfect fit for me, because I'm really into helping people. I can't stand seeing anything suffer, so I think that kind of helps me.
I like the part about being outside, being with the livestock, not sitting in an office all the time. The downs is sometimes it gets a little hectic, and the weather sometimes ain't real good. But other than that, it's just a pretty good job.